This is Phil Ebner, Director of Coaching Youth Academy, here with staff coaches Stu Taylor and Matt Pearson to give you a mid-season review regarding the Youth Academy programme. First of all, a club update. If you've been at Bear Branch recently, you'll have noticed construction on Bear Branch field number 4 and field number 5. What they're doing is turning that into an all-weather turf surface, which will be good for us in the event of a rain-out or a cancellation. We're able to still play. There are no immediate changes with regards to the Youth Academy programme. However, in some cases we are sharing a field with some competitive teams for training, which means our space is a little bit tighter than normal, but it's just a small sacrifice we have to make for the next few months. What I'd like to do at this time is reiterate the two main goals of the Youth Academy programme. Number one is individual player development. The teams are not the primary focus. Right now we want each individual player to develop at their own rate. Secondly, we want them to have fun. We want them to build a passion for what we believe is the best sport in the world, and to enjoy training sessions, enjoy the games. Speaking of the games, we don't want you to judge success by whether we win or lose the games. That outcome is not what's important right now. What's important right now is how the players compete, how they play. Do they try and play soccer? We don't want them to play kickball. We want them to get the ball down, connect passes. We want them to try dribbling, try shooting. All the technical aspects of the game that we're teaching in training sessions, we want them to apply on a Saturday and on a Sunday. The purpose of the game is to give them an experience of an opponent, of a referee, having the parents on the sideline, having the coaches instructing them from the coaches' side, and that experience is there for them to develop. So that's the purpose of the game. So please, again, winning is not the most important thing. What's important is how they play.
The focus on training is that these years are the motivationally for players, they're the skill-hungry years. This is where a lot of the players need to learn the basic techniques which will serve them well to go on and play in the future. This is something we've tried to implement through the training programmes and through each session. As Phil said earlier on, a lot of our objectives are not to get players just winning games. We're trying to give them the basic knowledge and skills through small-sided games and training and through various technique work to enable them to make good decisions on the field in the games. These objectives could be make 5 passes, these objectives could be get 3 shots and goal. This is all down to the individual, and our plan and training is to make sure that each player as an individual has the right opportunity to develop. Each player will be given one of these at the end of the season. It's a training evaluation whereby we judge them on their technical ability in various areas such as dribbling, shooting, passing and receiving. One of the other things that we look at is the core values. These things such as tenacity, respect, unity and leadership are all in there to judge the player not solely as a soccer player but also as a person, and hopefully enable them to go on and play at the highest level.
So the first thing I'm going to speak about is the soccer education emails that have been sent out. So these are basically an email with different opportunities for viewing that each child can look at, whether they be highlights, full-sided games on TV for the English or even Champions League games. These will improve everybody's skills so much because they'll learn about the rules of the game, how things actually happen in a full professional game, and we feel that the best way of learning off the field is by watching these games. The second thing I'm going to talk about is the practice away from Bear Branch in the field. These skills that they learn or see on that we teach them, or that they see in the games from the soccer education videos, these are the skills that they can practice away from Bear Branch, whether they be tricks, turns, different ways of shooting. We'd like them to continue their soccer education by practicing constantly away from Bear Branch, whether that be at the field, whether that be in their backyard, or just on the street, or before even practice.
We like to think of the Youth Academy programme as an educational experience for parents as well as players. So throughout the season we give you advice on how to conduct yourself during training sessions. We'd like you to think of the soccer field as a classroom for coaches and a classroom for the kids. So please give us our space to train. Don't walk through the fields, don't interrupt the training sessions unless it's an emergency. Furthermore, at games, we ask you not to coach from the sidelines. The reason for this is that two of the most important principles of play in soccer are improvisation and creativity. And if you're constantly telling your child what to do when they have the ball, they're never going to develop these two attributes. Furthermore, you're not going to be with your child during their tax test at school. You're not going to be with your child when they go for their job interview. You're not going to be with their child through every stage of their life. So now is a good time to cut the cord and let them start making their own decisions and learning from the outcomes, positive and negative. That's what we as coaches do. We try not to make the decision for the player with the ball. We try to let them make their own choice, and then we teach them about the outcome. Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? And why? And help them learn from that process. Furthermore, the leagues that we play in on Saturday and Sundays, they're a development league for referees also. So please remember that most of the referees that we have are also young, and they're also learning how to be a referee. So any abuse whatsoever, verbal abuse of these referees will not be tolerated by our club. Moving on, I want to give you some updates regarding the coming months, starting with November. Thanksgiving break, that whole week we will not be training, there will be no games. The week after Thanksgiving, which I believe is November the 25th, registration for the spring season will open at that time. Please be aware that there's only a certain number of players that we can take in the program, so be sure to register quickly in order to secure the spot in the program for your child in the spring season. Furthermore, moving on to December, an email was sent regarding 2 tournaments. First of all, we'll be taking the children to a tournament in Sugarland. It's the Eclipse Academy Cup. This is the first weekend of December, Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd. If you would like to play in that tournament, send me an email and let me know. Our staff will pick the teams, our staff will coach the teams at the tournament, and we'll place them in an appropriate bracket of play based on the ability level of that team. The purpose of the tournament is just a fun way to end this season. Moving on from then, on December the 8th, which is a Saturday, at Carl Barton in Cornrow, there's going to be the club's annual 3v3 Winter Blast. The purpose of this tournament is primarily a fundraiser for the club, but anyone who's participated in the past knows it's just a fun day out. This tournament is slightly different to the first one in that the professional staff will not be coaching the teams, will not be selecting the teams, so if your child wants to play, they can choose whoever they want to play with. They can play with their friends, and those friends don't have to be current Rush members. Anybody is welcome to participate in this fundraiser, and we encourage you to invite your friends and family to come and play in it. Any boy can play regardless of age. So what that means is if your son is 8 years old and he wants to play with a 10-year-old, that's fine. But the team has to play at the age of their oldest player. If that doesn't make sense, come and see me. I'm not sure I worded that as well as I could. So the 3v3 Winter Blast is December the 8th. We also have 2 camps in December. One of them is a pre-academy ID camp. The other one is an ECNL ID camp. The US Development Academy and the ECNL are the elite programs at our club. And the staff will be using their facilities, and they'll be hosting 2 camps aimed at younger players to give them a taste of what it's like to be an academy player and be an ECNL player. More details of those camps will come from us shortly, and you can also look on the website right now, texasrush.com, under the camps tab, and that will give you more information regarding those. So that's all from me for now, and we'll give you another update again at the end of the season. Thank you for watching this amateur presentation, and thank you for your support of the club so far.